Welcome to Film Captains. I'm Connor,
I'm Michael.
and today we're kicking off our first discussion video.
First thing is we want to tell you about our upcoming production project.
It's titled Captain America Behind Enemy Lines.
So, we plan on releasing this in the fall sometime.
It's going to be really awesome, so make sure you don't miss it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it some more in some future content. So, stay tuned.
So now, for today's discussion,
Our favorite superhero movies. But in no particular order, just movies that we love.
So let us know in the comments what's your favorite superhero movies.
And why you like them. That's important.
We love to hear from y'all.
Yeah. And maybe while you're down there, you can smash the like button.
Smash it below.
So, let's get right into it. Alright, starting off the list, we have Spider-Man 2. Alright. So what do you like about Spider-Man 2, Connor?
What I like about Spider-Man 2, I like about it, what I really enjoyed was the cinematography in the movie, because the movie came out in 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And the way it was shot, it made us feel like we were actually in that time period whatsoever. Yeah. And it was just, I thought it was really good, and it just fitted very well in the Spider-Man, in the 3 out of 3 Spider-Man movies. So Sam Raimi, you did an amazing job on this. Yeah. And we're very, very happy with the work that you did.
And
Michael?
Me, I think what you just said is everything. Like, that movie, when I watch it, reminds me of when I was a kid. Because I grew up in that time period. I grew up, while things were kind of becoming more modern, when we still kind of had some payphones here and there, early 2000s, whatever. But Spider-Man 2 was great because it focused on the character rather than the story around the character that the character is in. It was more focused on Peter Parker and his struggle with Spider-Man.
And I felt like Tobey Maguire, out of all the 3 Spider-Mans we've seen throughout the MCU universe, or any Spider-Man that's been on screen, that he was the best choice.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite Spider-Mans. He is my top Spider-Man.
So if you all also want to, in the comments below, you can put your favorite Spider-Man on there if you want.
Put your favorite Spider-Man. Tell us all about everything you love about that movie.
The comments below help us communicate with you. And make sure you press that subscribe button for more.
That's the whole point of the discussion. So, next on the list, we have Iron Man 2008.
So, what do you think about it, Michael?
Iron Man, of course, is the movie that started the MCU. And for me, it introduced me to Iron Man, because I never even knew the character was as awesome as he was. When I saw him in comic books and stuff, I just thought he was a goofy looking robot dude. But in the movies, in that movie, it made the character way more grounded, way cooler, and something that I just kind of liked. And it did what Spider-Man 2 did, more focusing on the character and how he becomes who he is and how he handles everything, how his character kind of acts. And Robert Downey Jr. did a perfect job,
What I like to say about the movie was everything he said was spot on. I couldn't agree more. Well, I'm going to add on top of this is that Robert Downey Jr., amazing character for Iron Man. No one else can top his work in the movie as much as he did. Mm-hmm. But what I really liked about it is that other than that is the character development, his character arc throughout the MCU was just...
The character start was so strong that it was able to last through an entire, how many movies?
I think it was
24?
About 20, around 20, in the 20s.
20 something. He was a great character, and it was a great movie. And at the time, I don't think anybody knew what they were going to do with the character. They just thought it was another superhero movie like Spider-Man. So, next is the Avengers movie, the first one.
The first one. So the first Avengers movie came out around close to
2012.
2012, exactly the same time period the movie literally was released.
Yeah.
I remember watching this and thinking to myself, you got these four amazing actors:
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and we got Robert Downey Jr. We don't really know
Scarlett Johansson.
Johansson, Jeremy Renner.
Everybody. It's
We don't know Jeremy Renner. We didn't know Jeremy Renner and Mark Ruffalo as much as we did the other characters from previous films.
yeah. That was the first time I saw him as an actor.
Me too. Both of them,
But,
really.
But I think it's a great movie because that was like so revolutionary. Like that's what the whole like first phase of Marvel was leading up to, and it just the way they executed that movie and the way they had all of the heroes from their own movies come together, just it worked. They did it to perfection.
And for these actors, we didn't know any of these actors from previous movies. Let's talk about that. Well,
Chris Evans, of course, we know him
from Fantastic Four,
Human Torch.
right? But we didn't really experience his.
We never saw him the way we saw him in the
Captain
in the
America.
MCU.
Right. But like characters as in Robert Downey Jr. and Jeremy Renner and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson. But we've probably seen her in many movies in the early 2000s. But each of them got their start in their acting career from this one movie. Like it all launched
this
from this.
is what kind of really. This is the MCU is what brought Robert Downey Jr.'s acting career back.
Right. Yeah.
The movie The Avengers was amazing, and they did it very well.
And I'm really proud of the way they made this movie. Joss Whedon did a good job. Us as Marvel fans, we really enjoyed the work of the Avengers and the MCU, and hopefully we get to see more from your content.
Yeah. So the next movie on our list is
X-Men 2 Reunited.
X-Men United. So this movie was the second installment in the X-Men series, and I grew up watching the X-Men series. It's really the best out of the three main X-Men movies, in my opinion, obviously. But the reason is because of how diverse the characters are, how they have so many more characters and the stories that are all individual come together at some point, and then everything just comes together to form this really great story. And when I first saw it, it was the first look I had at Wolverine's origin, because originally I had no idea about the character until the first movie came out. So what do you think about it?
Well, being honest with all X-Men fans out here, and to Michael, I've told recently, I wasn't really a big fan of the X-Men movies previously. For the past couple of years, I haven't really been into it, other than the MCU. But I started watching it. Last week? I watched Logan. Phenomenal film. We'll get into that later on. But I like this movie because it was one of the beginning X-Men movies. They did a phenomenal job. Explaining each character
it's very
a little well.
fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. The action scenes were good. I liked how they used the elements of the mise-en-scène in this movie.
Yeah, the acting is good. Hugh Jackman, of course, as Wolverine is just as iconic as Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark.
Right.
It's just it fits, and he did a perfect job at it.
And it was just the X-Men 2. It was like one of the foundations.
They basically took from what was from X-Men 1 and made it better.
Yeah, so we thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
we like to hear what y'all
really
think,
great.
And we'll see.
So
we'll start on,
the next one on our list is, of course, the first X-Men movie, because
why not have the
you
first
can't
one?
really talk about the second one without mentioning the first. Without the first, you wouldn't have had the second.
Right.
So the first X-Men movie really kind of introduced you to the main characters that you needed to know. You know, Wolverine, Rogue, Professor X, Jean Grey, Storm, Cyclops. And it was the first time that we really saw a bunch of superheroes all together. And the movie is very small. It feels small when you
At
watch
first,
it.
yeah.
But when you watch it, it fits together so well that it's a fun movie, and it was a great entrance to creating the X-Men universe that we know.
I also like to say as a statement that, really, in my opinion, I really think that the X-Men series really kicked off superhero movies, was the starting point of superhero films,
Yeah.
and really brought the idea to more. And I think that's where the MCU got their ideas from. If not,
Yeah.
tell me I'm wrong. You can ask me if I'm wrong. It's okay. I'll take anything. But I think that's my personal opinion.
I think so, because I think they realized they're organizing the X-Men over here. What if we organize the Avengers over here?
Right. It told a completely different story, but some of it I feel like it was the same.
And what would be cool is if they would come together
as a crossover. Yeah, at least for like what, 1 or 2 movies.
Yeah,
so
like a couple of phases down the road in Marvel.
So yeah, we really appreciate it. It's our opinion. Again, this is our own opinion. Your opinion could be completely different. This is just for us.
Yeah.
So we just want to keep that in mind.
So the next movie on our list is
Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
This movie
was the pinnacle of Marvel movies.
Right.
Everything from the first Iron Man movie was leading up to Endgame.
Right.
And Endgame couldn't have wrapped up Tony Stark's Iron Man performance or Chris Evans' Captain America performance any better than it did. They did a great job with bringing everything to a close. Even though they're still making Marvel stuff. And we've seen like Loki, WandaVision, all those things. And they're not as great, but anyway, the point is, the Endgame was the movie that everyone had been waiting for when they saw the first Avengers movie.
And I really think that this is like one of the first MCU. This whole saga, the Infinity Saga, is the first thing they brought from the comic books, other than the X-Men. They brought to the screen where the audiences fell in love with these characters.
Also, I think it's one of the longest movies ever made. It's like 3 hours long.
Well, not one of the longest, but it's one of the longest superhero movies, as I'm foretold.
I know there are some movies that are like 4 hours.
Yeah, Justice League, Snyder's Cut, Justice League.
The Snyder Cut is long.
It's 4-hour movie, but that could be
that's for
a later video.
A later video.
Right.
We're going to talk about DC. Right now, we're talking about Marvel.
Correct. So, that being said, and last thing I want to say about Endgame, other than it being a phenomenal movie with amazing time travel and good concluding stories, is that it made it to box office. It beat Avatar. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment.
Avatar, because Avatar, that was a record.
When it first came to theaters, I remember watching it. I wasn't a big fan of it at first, but you appreciate the cinematography and the elements.
I mean, Avatar is a great movie. Of course, it made a bunch of money, but having a movie that made way more money than it, that beat the record, is just, it's a good movie.
It's mind-boggling when you think about it, because very few movies can really be a number one box office, and this one managed to do it. And we're proud of both of us. We're both proud of what the Russo brothers were able to do with this movie. So
our next movie is Captain America: The First Avenger. Which the reason I like it is mainly because it introduces you to Captain America, and it's the base to building his character, just like Iron Man was. And so this movie really made Captain America into what he was. It showed you that Captain America from the very beginning was always willing to go the extra mile, jump on the grenade, and wanting to do his part in everything and do what's right. And it that's what his that's kind of it seems kind of crazy to think about, but it's very obvious why he was able to pick up Thor's hammer at the end of Endgame when you watch the movie First Avenger, because he was always very powerful and able. He was always a good of heart kind of person.
And he always stood for what he believed for, and that's what most people in the MCU didn't really have at the time, especially when it first starting out.
And so, but like going back and watching it, you can see that he always could pick up Thor's hammer because that's his character.
Right.
Even before he was super strong, he probably could have picked it up.
He probably could have, but he just, he felt like he wasn't. Well, he's worthy, but at the time, he didn't think he was like, do I really want to do this right now, or do I want to do this later? And I think they made the right choice at bringing that in game.
They definitely, like, his character doesn't have, like, it has an arc, but it doesn't have the kind of arc that is totally changing.
Right.
It just, he goes from being what he was to kind of becoming even better than what he was. Not like Tony Stark just being a narcissist and being a total, selfless person.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America was always that kind of caring kind of person.
Right. So now we're moving on to
Logan.
Our next movie, Logan, as Michael said.
So Logan, he didn't see it until a week ago?
A week ago. That's when I started getting back into X-Men.
Yeah.
It was that one movie because it's like I've heard about it. I've heard about it from trailers and then him telling me because he loves it. He loves the X-Men.
I do. I grew up watching the movies.
Right. I love it. I honestly got like
what I love about Logan is that at this point in the X-Men universe, Hugh Jackman had been playing the character for 17 years.
Yeah, just about.
And he's like Tony Stark and Robert Downey Jr. They're inseparable. He is the Wolverine almost. Like no one else could be Wolverine.
No.
It's really hard to cast the character to another person, especially for the MCU if you would ever do that. But the story is kind of like that old Western Shane. It follows along with a man trying to escape his past, trying to stay away from his past and denying who he is and what he is, and then having to kind of struggle with the fact that he has to embrace that again and go after it and become a hero. Logan had to. He'd lived for so many years. He'd seen so many things. So, Logan being his character as well as Professor X was like just seeing those characters in that last movie was powerful.
Kind of like a tearjerker when you think about it.
Yeah, it ended the characters in such a way that, like, it's like we did it. It's over. It's gone. It's moving on to the New Mutants.
Right.
So.
And what I think about the movie Logan as a first-time person actually viewing this movie from someone who completely doesn't know the whole story about. I've heard about the Wolverine and I've heard about the X-Men. I've heard about
Yeah.
them, but this as a first-time viewer to all of our audiences out there, new or people who've already currently watching our channel,
Yeah.
is just you appreciate even the movies you don't really like. You appreciate the way they're made, and you really get an insight of what the
Yeah.
director was thinking about
Yeah.
while making this. And this movie was by far one of the best X-Men movies I've seen. It's just
Yeah.
it's a survivalist. What the most common theme out of all these hero movies is the comic accuracy.
Yeah.
How dedicated the director tried to get it as close as
Yeah.
he can, and the
How
action.
well the characters are handled and written.
Right, correct.
You know,
And the
because
development.
you can have a great story, but if you have terrible characters,
And the
then
development isn't
it's
there.
all gonna fall apart.
Correct.
So you need to build up your characters to the point where they will be able to, not really carry the story, but flow with the story.
And well, it's sad, really, that they're ending it. I understand why they have to end it, but it's kind of sad as a first-time viewer
Yeah.
when you watch it. You don't have to watch all. For me, like this is
Well,
the
I mean,
weirdest
they're
thing.
not ending the X-Men; they're ending
Logan.
Logan, like Wolverine's reign. Is
Right,
over.
but the thing is,
Okay.
like, what's really what I really love about this movie, the best thing I really love about this movie, is you don't have to watch any of the X-Men to understand what's going on.
Yeah, like
You really don't.
because a lot of it is kind of told to you, or
You
seen
you
through
sort of
flashbacks.
right.
So,
You sort of picked everything up on the way from the beginning,
yeah,
but we're not gonna sit here and tell you what it's all about
Yeah.
because it won't be any
yeah.
fun
We
if we
can
did.
talk about it for
Hours,
days.
yeah. And we want y'all to view these movies if y'all have seen them.
Yeah,
Awesome.
if you've seen them, just know they're great.
And-
Like if you haven't seen them, go watch them. They're great.
Yeah,
Epic,
we
they're awesome.
we definitely recommend these.
Yes,
And I couldn't
these
be any
are
prouder of
these are
watching.
on our recommendation list.
So yeah,
So
we love the Wolverine.
yeah,
We love Logan. Origins could have been better, but we're not gonna get too far into that.
Yeah.
That'll be on another list, but we love it and we
Yeah.
love the way it was filmed and we couldn't be any prouder to be viewers of
Yeah.
this. So
So all right, guys. That's all we have time for. There were so many other great movies that we couldn't talk about today. But
let us know your favorites in the comments below.
yes, let us know your favorites. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And for viewers who have not seen our channel, for new viewers, go check out some of our videos, our past videos, like our fan films. We've also got
Yeah.
our vlogs. We also got our trips that we've posted on there. So make sure you watch those videos first, and then check out to this one
We have a bunch of awesome content
coming
for the future.
for the
and
future of this channel.
It's gonna be awesome.
Make sure you stay tuned. You never
Yes.
want to miss nothing, because if you miss something, you wish you want to be there.
Yeah.
So
So
till next time, this is Connor,
Michael signing off.
and we'll see you next time.